Well, if it's not at 70 or 80%, then when? Those are the words from Scott Morrison on the Today Show this morning, discussing his plan to stop the lockdowns and live with the virus. But he's on a collision course with premiers who want to keep states COVID-free. Let's take this to the pulse with lifestyle journalist Belinda Cipriano and entrepreneur Coram Ellis. Welcome.
Hello, Mon. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Belinda, we'll start with you. WA and Queensland are standing firm, but the PM says they can't protect themselves from Delta forever and stay in a cave. What do you think?
Look, I am sick of this political slinging match, to be honest. We have been dealing with this for 18 months, haven't we? And I was just thinking, the only thing that we have at the moment is time, and we've lost so much of that time. And I know of a colleague who has just lost a loved one, and she's been trying to get over east, and she can't because obviously the borders. And we're all getting vaccinated. Well, hopefully everyone's doing the right thing about getting vaccinated. And I never agree with ScoMo at all, but I want to know, when is it happening? When are we going to see our loved ones overseas or interstate?
The calls are growing for a little more compassion. The UK is still getting thousands of cases a day, but it's living as normal. Coram, do we need to adjust to the idea of what makes us COVID safe?
Look, the line has to be drawn somewhere, right? We have to, at some stage, go through a change back to a more regular way of life.
The new normal.
The new normal, yeah. And there's going to be some adjustments, of course.
Yeah.
Look, I feel for ScoMo. He's always stuck between a rock and a hard place, trying to please a lot of people at once. Pretty difficult call. We've been so fortunate here in WA to not have any extended lockdown periods. I guess the risk of opening up to the states and territories is that we might be forced into that situation. Flattening the curve is still a metric we're going to need to manage to not overwhelm any of our systems. What a delicate balance. It's a really tricky one.
It is tricky. Well,
really
here's something right out of the future. Tesla hopes to launch a humanoid robot to handle dangerous, repetitive or boring work like picking up groceries. At 5'8" and 57 kilos, the bot's been designed so humans can overpower it if needed. Coram, as a tech entrepreneur, what do you think of it?
Look, I like my machines to stay looking like machines. This thing is very humanoid, which is pretty amazing, but I guess there's a bit of a risk of when we humanise machinery too much, we might get a little bit emotionally attached to it.
They make movies about that.
Yeah,
Belinda, would you feel safe having one in your home?
I tell you what, I'd be sleeping with one eye open. I think it's about my size, so I think I'd be quite scared. But if it can do the mundane chores that I need done around the house, I'd be happy with that.
You wouldn't knock it, no,
I'd
that's
be happy
for sure.
With that. They can do that.
A fresh take on a classic fairy tale romance is going to hit our screens. Amazon Prime unveiling a trailer for Cinderella, but this time Cindy is a small business owner who goes to the ball to raise her profile, not to meet Prince Charming. When the prince asks her to run away from him, she asks, "But what about my work?" Now, Belinda, is this a boost for feminism?
I don't think it's groundbreaking these days, but I do love this fresh take on this classic, fairy tale. I did love Cinderella growing up, but obviously we've evolved since then, and I am glad that Cindy or Ella, whatever her name is, in this movie is proving that she can live her life with no man.
Independently, that's fantastic. But Coram, do you think revamping fairy tales, I mean, it is a bit of a mission?
Yeah, for sure. Look, I think a lot of people have great attachments to fairy tales from their youth. A lot of people grew up on Disney movies, and there's a lot of valuable lessons in there, some really nice stories. Obviously, the world's changed a lot, and there's a few new messages to put out there, and I noticed from the trailers that this message is very modern. It's got a lot of modern elements, but big ups to Ella for starting a small business, because that is one of the hardest things you can do.
Absolutely. It's certainly giving us all something to think about and talk about. Coram, Belinda, thank you for coming in.
Thanks so much.